has just broken that LVMH, the powerhouse behind iconic luxury brands such as Louis Vuitton and Dior, have just invested in affordable contemporary brand Polène. Now this move is shaking up the luxury world and has left a lot of us wondering why LVMH have made this bold move and what it could mean for Polène's unique charm and pricing. Let's dive in. I'm going to break down everything that you need to know about this acquisition in general, how I think it could impact luxury fashion forever, and whether we think Polène will maintain its essence during LVMH's wing. Hey, if you are new here, my name is Steph. Now, I've been collecting designer bags for over 10 years now, and I've just recently invested in a few Polène bags myself. One of those being the very beautiful Syme tote bag from the brand. Very quiet luxury, simple, yet unique in its own right. I believe Polène bags have overall been priced really well. They have some really interesting designs that feel unique, but let's start by diving into a bit of Polène's history. So this story all started with a visit to a Spanish Hermès workshop in 2014, according to Antoine Mahay, who decided alongside big brother Matthew and younger sister Elsa that it was time they launched their own brand. The Mahay siblings saw a gap in the market in terms of affordable luxury space and saw that a lot of the brands in this space were effectively just creating dupes of high-end luxury bags. None of them were being very original with their designs. So in 2016, Polène was born with an emphasis on creating unique, contemporary pieces at a much more affordable price point, and it worked. Polène's store in Paris, for example, are known for their very long queues and often sold out pieces as customers scramble to get in. Now, Polène bags have fallen in favour of royalty such as Kate Middleton and also the hit Netflix show Emily in Paris. Now, the combination of royalty and Emily in Paris, I believe, has very firmly put Polène on the map. Now, according to an article in NSS Mag, Polène has quickly conquered an ever-growing audience and achieved astounding results, even going as far as to double its sales last year in 2023. These results, of course, have not gone unnoticed by the wolf in Kashmir, Bernard Arnault, who seems to be getting closer every day to a luxury monopoly in France and beyond. So, what exactly has happened? Why is this big news that LVMH has bought shares in Polène? So El Cataton, which is a private equity firm backed by LVMH, has acquired a minority stake in Polène. Emphasis here on minority. So LVMH is not the main shareholder currently, and they do not have control of the company as it stands. What's interesting, however, is that Bernard Arnault is known for hostile brand takeovers. Bernard is currently, give or take a little, about the third richest person on the planet. His net worth is about 188.6 billion US dollars. He has been known to buy shares of luxury companies until he becomes the majority shareholder. So an example of when he did this is when he purchased the legendary Louis Vuitton. He started buying shares in LVMH to gain majority control, apparently leaving the last true Vuitton heirs in tears. And this is what happened. Henry Raysimer, so he was controlling Louis Vuitton at the time, sought Bernard Arnault's help to fend off outside investors from taking over the company. But it turns out that Bernard wasn't an ally, but in fact an enemy, who slowly started buying the stock in the company until he became the main shareholder. So he effectively stabbed Henry in the back and did exactly what he was trying to stop happening. This is where Bernard gets his street name from, if you will, which is the wolf in Kashmir. Fun fact, Arnault actually set his eyes on Hermès early on, quietly upping his stake in the company to 17% in 2010. Now, the founding family at Hermès saw this as an attack, as they definitely and rightly should do, and they came together to protect the control of their company to fend off LVMH's interest. After years of battles and increasing regulatory pressures, LVMH announced in September 2013 that it would distribute its 23% stake in Hermès to its shareholders and investors by 2014, promising not to purchase further Hermès shares for the next 5 years. So they could technically be buying shares up now, but I don't know if that's the case. So we've established here that Bernard Arnault is a ruthless guy when it comes to wanting a piece of the luxury pie. But now will LVMH end up controlling Polène? So technically, LVMH couldn't do a hostile takeover with Polène because it's not a publicly traded company. So as of right now, Polène's CEOs are the majority shareholders and they have to decide if they privately want to sell more shares to LVMH. Then it could be taken over by the conglomerate. So it all comes down to the CEOs at Polène. Do Polène want to stay true to its roots and build a brand and a legacy? Or do they want to become instant billionaires? Only time will tell. So what can we expect now that LVMH has bought into Polène? I think right now we aren't going to see any major differences, but it's not new news that Polène has seen huge increase in demand. And as a result of this demand, it has also appeared to put a lot of strain on the company, consequently affecting some of their quality. There's a lot of complaints online from customers with quality issues. So this has clearly been an issue, and this investment might mean that Polène has strategically now more cash so that it can better scale itself and ensure higher quality standards going forward. So as a consumer of Polène, this is actually potentially really good news. Now, Bernard Arnault as a business owner is very much known for buying up brands then and starting to build out more vertical business models within those brands. So that's basically taking everything from design and concept to delivering the item to your front door and managing that entire process. So you have more control and you can also maximize profit margins. How are we all feeling about this? Some interesting comments that I have come across online. The first one is great. Now let's wait for their bags to double in price. Declining quality plus an acquisition with LVMH, which means more expensive, equals no thank you. The next comment that I've seen, get your Polène bags now before the prices jump like crazy. Another comment, first open, now Polène. It's sad that every small company's end goal seems to be acquisition. It seems like it's going to head that way rather than building out their own empire. The next comment is quite funny. It is, I'm starting to think Arnault owns my house without me even knowing it at this point. Perhaps the shirt on my back. This might very well be the case if you are wearing a designer shirt, for sure. So what do I think this means for luxury? How do I feel about this situation? I think this is really interesting. The fact that a huge conglomerate such as LVMH is strategically and very clearly revealing that it wants to diversify more into the affordable luxury fashion space. I think we might see more acquisitions like this going forward, in all honesty. It shows how fast and well the affordable and contemporary designer bag market is growing. And I've seen this here on my YouTube channel, okay? The more recently, when I've talked about more affordable luxury bags and brands, the response has been really interesting and overall overwhelmingly positive. Some of these brands have really exciting, unique designs like Polène. They don't feel like they're going to break the bank when you buy a piece that might be trendy, very on style, for example, but you're not too sure if it's going to end up being a classic. And when sometimes you don't want to spend thousands and thousands and thousands on a piece because you don't know what the longevity of the design is going to be like, an affordable option definitely makes a lot of sense. There are so many fantastic options now. I don't think this was the case. When I started buying designer pieces about 10 years ago, I don't know, the affordable kind of market range, I don't think were very cool, and like what Polène tapped into, they very much just felt like dupes of the super high-end luxury brands. Now, I also think this entire thing is tapping into a vein when it comes to the luxury market, and that is the kind of discontent some consumers feel towards some of the huge luxury fashion houses for their unjustified, huge, very, very steep price increases. And it's left a lot of luxury lovers, such as myself, feeling quite frustrated at the entire thing, like with the huge percentage increases. And it's definitely forced me anyway to look more at the affordable contemporary brands. And I've really enjoyed the experience so far. Now, potentially as sales slow down for some of the huge fashion houses, as people spend less on super expensive luxury items, you know, your Chanel's, your Louis Vuitton Capucines, the bags that cost many, many thousands. I definitely think we're still going to see an uptake of people choosing to spend their money with more contemporary brands. Sometimes it can feel like you're getting better value for money, you don't feel ripped off. Another thing to note is obviously that the affordable brands have a much bigger audience base because they're much more accessible than the super high end. So it makes total sense that LVMH wants to diversify their portfolio and invest in more affordable brands. How are you feeling about this? Do you have a Polène bag? Will you be investing in one soon? Do you think the prices are going to shoot up? I definitely think that is a big concern for all of us, hence why I ordered my Sime tote bags now with this news happening, because it's likely we're going to see more price increases, I think. Now, don't go anywhere, because coming up next, the 7 affordable luxury brands that are defining a new era of it bags. Enjoy.